Good morning, guys. Stayed at Fontana Dam shelter last night. I set my hammock up there. Got pretty windy and rainy, but slept okay. I wouldn't say I slept a full night, but so yeah, today head up into the Smokies, which everyone's excited and a little nervous about. But yeah, I'll head on up there. I think there's some other shots of the dam I'll take on the walk over. But yeah, I'm pretty pumped to get into the Smokies. Alright, so this is actually the trail right here for this part where it goes through Fontana Dam. Pretty cool view. Yeah, so today is another one of the days where you just kind of go up for miles at a time, so I probably won't film a ton going up since it's just going to be me huffing and puffing and trying to catch my breath. But yeah, I expect some views. I know there's a fire tower on the way today, so if it clears up at all, I'll get some shots up there. But yeah, if anything else interesting happens, I'll try to shoot that. Yeah, so it's kind of funny how the group changes over time, and then you'll think somebody's gone, or you know, they're ahead of you or they're behind you, and then all of a sudden they'll show up at the shelter. So for instance, a guy showed up who I probably hadn't seen since Franklin, which was like 60 or 70 miles ago. Actually, I think it was Hiawassee last time I saw him, which was even more. But he showed up last night. We remembered each other, so that was cool. Another guy, Corey, who I had met at Waya Bald on the crazy night where I was worried about hypothermia. He was out for a section hike, and I thought he was way ahead of me, and turns out he took off at Stokoa Gap and took 2 nights at a hostel. But he's back out here, which is good. And he got another nasty night last night of storms. So he doesn't seem to bring the good weather, but he's a good guy. But yeah, other than that, there's people that were doing like 20 miles a day that ended up taking a 0 that I figured I'd never see him again, and they were there last night. So I feel like everyone kind of stops at the dam, takes a day off. Here's a view. This is the actual dam, it looks like, where you actually get to walk over the dam itself. So this should be pretty cool. Yeah, this place is definitely pretty cool, even though it's just like a hydroelectric dam. I'm just gonna walk over this damn thing, or I'm never gonna get anywhere today. Although it looks like there's a crazier view coming up, so. This thing's huge. So it actually looks like they were like releasing it or something down here. Try to get a better shot. Alright, it's about to be official. We're about to be in the Great Smokey Mountains. Here's the sign coming up now. Finally back on the trail. It was a long road walk over the dam. But yeah, this is where I gotta put my permit in, and I'll get into the actual trails of the Smokies. Alright, so the plan today is get to Molly's Ridge shelter at least, which I think was 12 miles from where I stayed last night. So the thing that kind of sucks about the Smokies, at least for hammock people, is that you have to sleep in the shelters if there's room. So now I have to carry my sleeping pad as well as my entire hammock setup still, just in case there's not room in the shelter. But anyway, there's also a shelter 3 miles past that that I might shoot for, depending on the weather and how I feel. But honestly, my legs feel really good, so I'm really glad that I took a break yesterday and kind of did like a half day and stayed in Fontana Village. But yeah, we'll continue on with this climb and film more maybe if there's views. Yeah, so I don't know what these plants are that are lining the trail, but they're making it nice and green. It might be mountain laurel, I'm not sure. But yeah, I feel like people that went through here in March probably aren't getting the same kind of foliage, but maybe these are evergreen, I don't know. But yeah, I definitely feel like they say like walk with spring is how you do the AT, basically following spring as it goes north. And I feel like the time that I left, beginning of April, was like the perfect time for that. But yeah, it's nice and green up here. So I was literally about to pull out my camera and film and say how lucky I've been on the weather so far, except for the first day, and literally it started to rain and now we're getting little pieces of hail. They're just like less than pea size, but just kind of funny. They always say no rain, no pain, no man. And I was definitely feeling pain the past few days on my foot, and today it's only rain, no pain. So, and that saying is supposed to mean if you don't endure the pain and don't endure the rain, then you'll never get to Maine, where the AT ends. So it's definitely ringing true. Alright, so most of the way up Shuckstack, which is the main, the first peak you get climbing out of Fontana Dam. And so far the grade of the trail, like how steep it is compared to like how far you're going, the slope I guess is much nicer than coming out of NOC, but the map made it look like this was going to be like the same or worse than that climb. But maybe it's just the weather. The climb I did out of NOC was just like brutally hot. It's a lot more temperate today, I guess. But anyway, it's not as bad as I thought, so maybe I'll do the 15 miles today. Alright, this is the view from the tower on top of Shuckstack, and this is about as far as I'm going up. Alright, so just coming down off of Shuckstack, had lunch up there, had like a ton of food, and then came down and there was a bunch of section hikers that were up for the weekend, and they gave me some homemade deer jerky, just like a huge piece. It's almost like the size of a burger, but it was so good. It was so moist. But yeah, anyway, I didn't go up all the way on the fire tower because it was super sketchy, but got a decent view off the first staircase. But yeah, on my way down I'll probably go to the second shelter, I think, tonight. But we'll see how I feel and who's at the first shelter. Alright, so I just found this like gnome looking house type thing in the woods up in the Smokies. Check this out. Pretty cool. Yeah, so I'm wondering if that peak way off in the distance is Klingman's Dome. That would be the highest point on the AT, and I think that's coming up either tomorrow or the next day. So that would be the first look at it if it is. Yeah, so far I'm definitely enjoying the Smokies. The path is nice and flat for the most part. Not too many rocks. There's a lot of steep uphill, but nothing worse than going up through NOC. But yeah, it's a little windy today, but I guess I heard the weather is supposed to be no rain for the next 4 or 5 days, so we just keep getting lucky with the weather. There was a tiny bit of sprinkling and hail this morning, but I think we're just supposed to get wind tonight and maybe some chilly temperatures, but the rest of the week is supposed to be beautiful. Morning, everybody. So just climbing out of Molly's Ridge. Stayed at the shelter there last night. Actually in the shelter this time, which I was kind of dreading all day. So you have to stay in shelters in the Smokies if there's room, but actually this was pretty cool. We had a fire going in there. There was room for 12 people. It didn't even fill up. And it was all people I've been hiking around for the past week, so everybody kind of knew each other and it was pretty chill. It did get down to 37 and I woke up at 5 a.m. freezing. I'm using a quilt and not a sleeping bag, so I was having a little trouble just staying warm, since the quilt it's not as easy to cover every part of you all the time. But other than that, I slept pretty good. So today I have the option of either doing 12 miles, I think, or 18. So probably gonna go with 12, but I'm still keeping my options open. But yeah, I'll see what happens. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be a beautiful day today. A lot less wind already than yesterday and last night. So yeah, I can't believe how lucky we are with the weather this year so far, at least from when I started. I think it's supposed to get nasty by the end of the week, but I might be out of the Smokies by then. Today's Saturday. I think that stuff was called for on Thursday, so might be able to avoid that. And then when I'm out of the Smokies at the end of next week, I'm meeting with my girlfriend and taking a few days off, so I'll be able to avoid that nasty weather too. Alright, so one thing I didn't really talk about yet was final pack weight in my videos, but when I set out from Amicaloa Falls, I think I weighed in at 26 pounds, which was after throwing in some last minute luxury items. I have a watercolor kit with me that I haven't even used. I also have a little Kindle that I haven't used because I didn't set it up right, and there's not any books on it right now, so I do plan to keep that, but I don't know about the watercolor kit. But anyway, I guess why I was thinking about that is because I'm trying to make it through the Smokies without a resupply, and that's 70 miles, so I'm thinking I was probably up near 28 pounds maybe, which is the most I was carrying yet when I left Fontana Dam. So yeah, just figured I'd mention that stuff. But a lot of people are getting off in Gatlinburg, which is probably 30 miles from here, to resupply. But my goal is to make it through, so unfortunately that means I'm carrying a shitload of food. So I just left Derrick Knob Shelter, which makes 12 miles for today. And I made the decision to go on to the next shelter, which is 6 more miles. So yeah, only 2/3 done with my day, and it's 3 o'clock, so I think I have plenty of time to make it. But yeah, I probably won't film much unless there's a really nice view, since I got some ground to cover before dark.